Hi everybody, my name is Todd Creager. What I do is I help couples heal from infidelity and other crises. I also help couples rekindle passion and make their relationship become more alive. And I help individuals heal from trauma using an approach called EMDR, which stands for Eye Movement Desensitization and Reprocessing. Today, I'm going to talk to you about 5 ways alcohol ruins relationships. Since I work a lot with couples, I constantly am seeing evidence of the problem that alcohol has on relationships. Now, there are many other kinds of addictions, but for this particular video, I'm talking about strictly alcohol because alcohol still is the most prevalent substance that people use. And it literally does ruin relationships. I've seen relationships, at least on the brink of ruin, and then recover. But that's what we want for you if you have this problem in your relationship, or if you know of anyone that has this problem. And if you do, I would encourage you to share this video with them. So first way, these 5 ways that I have, like I say, that alcohol ruins relationships. And the first way, really, I figured I'd start with, it messes up the relationship with yourself, the person who's drinking themselves. It messes their relationship with themselves, because think about this. Our body holds the key to a lot about us, a lot of information about us. And when we are able to tune into our bodies, our bellies, our heart, our feelings, our desires, our dreams, we can respond to them, and it really makes our life what it possibly could be. When we drink, it interferes with the whole process. It interferes with the communication between the brain and the rest of the body. It cuts off your intuition. So you lose a lot. So when we're talking about how it ruins relationships, if you're cutting off the communication within yourself, how can you be a person who can not be cut off from your partner? It just doesn't make sense. So that's the first way it ruins relationships, by cutting off communication within you, and you lose your connection with yourself. The second way alcohol ruins relationships is it's a selfish pastime. It's a selfish pastime. When a person drinks, it makes them feel better or different in a way they want to feel. That's why they continue doing it if they have an alcohol problem. And it's not really doing anything to their partner except, it's like what they feel and what they're experiencing has really nothing to do with you. You're not letting them affect you in any positive way. It's a very selfish, very self-regulating activity. But I don't want to use the phrase self-regulating, because what's really happening is the alcohol is regulating you, not yourself. So it is selfish. It's also, it's not social. It's not a social thing. When you see a bunch of people together drinking, it's not really social in the sense of getting people together and getting to know each other in any kind of meaningful way. One person's getting louder than the other, and it's one big loud fest or joke fest or whatever fest, but it's really not social. It's a bunch of individuals just doing the thing together. Sort of like little children under the age, I forget what age, it might be 2, I think it's 2, but I might be wrong. But developmental psychologists will tell you that they do what's called parallel play. They're not really interacting, they're just playing by themselves with other people around them. It's sort of like that with alcohol. So it's selfish, and it's really not social. Not really. I know it sounds crazy to hear that, because people think they're more social that way, but not in the way that I'm talking about. The third way alcohol ruins relationships is it'll basically put you to an early grave. It affects your body. There's only so much your body can metabolize alcohol per hour, per a certain amount of time. And if you're drinking more than the body can metabolize, and if you have an alcohol problem, you are drinking more than your body metabolizes, then the alcohol just accumulates in your body and ultimately affects your organs, many of your organs, all your organs. Again, the communication within you, but in the first way, I was talking about communication on a psychological level, but this physiologically can affect the communication between your organs, and ultimately you could die. And if you die young, or if you're mentally incapacitated to some degree young, you're surely not going to be a great partner. So that's important to deal with. And I'll add to that, immunity-wise, that it lowers our immunities when our immune system is constantly trying to get rid of the toxins in alcohol. It could actually leave us more vulnerable to other problems such as viruses and even cancer. The fourth way alcohol ruins relationships is it creates passivity in the person. We have the capacity to be very empowered problem solvers. Life is full of problems. Actually, life is a series of problems to be solved. And in the process of solving those problems, we develop emotional muscle, we develop maturity, we develop strength, we can handle things, we become more loving, we have the capacity to give and receive love more. Alcohol ruins all that. It just cuts down our capacity and our potential to be all that, and it makes us quite passive, and we really don't become effective problem solvers in any real meaningful way, at least interpersonally. Some people do drink and they find themselves being able to solve problems at work great, but when it comes to emotional issues, not the case. The fifth way alcohol ruins relationships is it keeps them young and immature. It's similar to when I talked about being an assertive problem-solving person. We have little kids that they're depending on other people to make them feel good. And when we're depending on a substance to make us feel good, alcohol, let's say, then that also keeps us young and it keeps us immature. And that your partner is going to get tired of that. Your partner wants a mature adult male or adult female. And the last thing they need is another little child, even though you're not a child, but sometimes you are that way when you're drinking alcohol. So it interferes in all five of those ways. I have many couples, I'm thinking of one in particular, where they came in, in this case the man was drinking a lot, and he used it to alleviate his anxiety, and she was feeling more and more alone and less safe. Also, he was driving with the teenage kids sometimes, the young teenage kids, like early teenage kids, and that terrified her. And it interfered with the relationship on so many levels, and she lost respect for him. But they came to see me, and he learned not to just stop drinking, but what it takes to connect. That's why programs like AA work, because it goes beyond drinking. In a group like AA, you actually can learn life skills, learn how to connect without the alcohol. So in this particular case, he went to AA and saw me, which I think is the ideal combination, therapy and a 12-step. But it's totally up to how you do it, but as long as you do something. And in this particular couple's case, he just got better. She grew in respect for him. She felt like he was there for her, and they're thriving. And this could be the case with you if you're dealing with that problem, or other couples you know. So do that. I also encourage you to click on the link below, which is 7 signs your partner has an alcohol or drug problem. Very helpful, because alcoholics, just like people that do drugs, can be very manipulative, and you want to have this guideline in front of you so you have even more sense of yourself. But trust your intuition as well. But this checklist of the 7 signs can be very, very helpful. I wish you well. This is Todd Creager, making the world safe for love.